Hi and welcome to your practice. Thank you for joining me. My name is Mary. Today we are going to be practicing saucha, which means cleanliness or purity, but thinking of it more in terms of how we can find purity by decluttering the space around us, but also decluttering our minds. So we're going to be practicing some twists today, so be careful with your back. Always remember to extend your spine first before you twist, and I'll be cueing that, but stay safe. So let's get started. Come to your mat and on your back. And we'll start by doing some Yogi Bicycles. So as you're on your back, your knees will be up. You could place your hands behind your head. Start by bringing your right elbow towards your left knee. So bring your left foot off the ground and then bring your foot down. So you'll be doing this with breath. So when you're ready to exhale, bring right knee, left elbow together. Inhale down and then move with your own breath, switching sides. And these movements are to strengthen your core, so draw your belly to your spine, but also to loosen up your spine and get ready for our practice today. So just kind of lubing things up. Now you can place your hands alongside your body, lift your feet up, and we're just going to move our knees from side to side. So go to one side, back to center, and then to the other side. And then just switch back and forth. So exhale to a side, breathe in, come up, and then exhale to the other side. And let's do that one more time on each side. And back to center. So now you can roll to a side, come up to a seated position first, and then we're going to move on to all fours. So bring your hands underneath your shoulders, knees about hip width distance apart. Place a little bit of extra weight on your index finger and thumb. And we'll begin by doing some cat-cows. So shine your heart forward, lift your tailbone up as you breathe in. Exhale, draw navel to spine, tuck in your tailbone, tuck in your chin. And then move with breath, breathing in, shining your heart, lifting your tailbone. Exhaling, tuck in your tailbone and chin, rainbow your spine. And once again, just bringing some flexibility into your spine to prepare for some twisting. So come to all fours, and then we're going to curl your toes, lift your knees off the ground, then lift your hips high and back to downward dog. And just pedal your feet. One heel towards the ground and then the next. Let your neck relax. And just finding if there are any creaky spots, any areas that might need a little bit of extra attention, extra care as you practice today. Look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands to come to halfway lift. So your hands could be on your shins or your thighs, really long spine, crown of your head forward. Now bend your knees a lot to forward fold, let your neck relax, tense your fingers, and really feel your spine stretching long. So creating space between each vertebrae. Press your feet into the earth to rise up, arms out and up, stretch tall. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your side. Take a full deep breath in, arms out and up. Hinge and fold, tense your fingers, step back into all fours. Step your right foot back so you're resting on the ball of your foot. Bring your left hand underneath your face and then bring your right hand up to the sky. So this might challenge your balance a little bit. So wobbling is totally fine. And then bring your right hand down, come back to all fours, curl your toes, bring your hips high and back to downward dog. Look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands to come to halfway lift. Hinge and fold. And then press into the ground to rise up, arms out and up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Take a full deep breath in, arms out and up, hinge and fold. Plant your hands, step back into all fours. This time stepping your left heel, your left foot back, so resting on the ball of your left foot. Bring your right hand underneath your face, and then bring your left hand up to the sky. Stretching your left heel towards the back of the room. Finding length and extension as you stretch your left arm up to the sky. And then bring your left hand down, come back to all fours, sink into child's pose. Press into all fours, curl your toes, bring your hips high and back to downward dog. Look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands to come to halfway lift. Bend your knees to forward fold, and then press into the ground to rise up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your side. Take a full deep breath in, arms out and up, hinge and fold. Plant your hands. We're stepping back into plank or plank on knees. If you're in plank, draw your belly to your spine. Your heels will push towards the back of the room. Now lower your knees and then squeeze your sides as you lower all the way to your belly, resting your forehead on the mat. Your palms will be palm side down right next to your chest. When you're ready to take a breath in, press the tops of your feet into the ground, lift your chest up, draw your shoulder blades down and back, feeling sensation in your upper back. And lower down. Press up into all fours, curl your toes, bring your hips high and back to downward dog. Look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands to come to halfway lift. Hinge and fold with bent knees. As you rise up, we're coming into chair pose, so keep your knees bent. Start by bringing your hands to your chest, and we're going to bring left elbow to right towards right knee. So finding a twisting position that feels good. So maybe twisting a little or maybe a lot, depending on where you're at, but not overdoing it. Notice where your breath is. Now come back to center into chair pose, and then stretch long, bringing your arms out and up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your side. Take a full deep breath in, arms out and up, hinge and fold. Plant your hands, step back into plank or plank on knees. Draw your belly to your spine, heels pressing towards the back of the room. Lower to your knees, and then squeeze your sides as you lower all the way to your belly. Press the tops of your feet into the earth to rise up, maybe a little bit further this time, into Cobra. So still shoulders down and back, so feeling sensation in your upper and lower back. And lowering down. Press into all fours and then curl your toes, bring your hips high and back to downward dog. Look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands to come to a halfway lift. Hinge and fold with bent knees. And then we're coming up to chair pose, hands to your heart. A lot of your weight on your heels. So you could stay here or bring right elbow towards left knee. Or twist even a little bit further. So tune into your breath. Come back to center and then press your feet into the earth to rise up. And then bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Take a full deep breath in, arms out and up, hinge and fold, tense your fingers, step your right foot back into a low lunge, shine your heart forward. Make sure your feet are in 2 tracks so you'll have a nice solid base. We're coming up to a crescent lunge, so press into your left foot to rise up. You'll be standing on the ball of your back foot. Start with your hands at your heart. Now, bring your right hand forward and your left hand back. If that's too much, you can place your left hand on your left hip. So find a position that works for you. And then come back to center. Step your right foot to meet your left into chair pose. And we're going to twist the same way. So bringing right elbow to left knee. And come back to center. Arms up and out, and then forward fold. Feeling the length in your spine. Press up, arms out and up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Another full deep breath in. And then we're going to hinge and fold. Tense your fingers. Step your left foot back this time into low lunge, shining your heart forward. Now we're coming up into high lunge. So get your foot placement. Press into your right foot to rise up. You could start with your hands on your hips. Bring your left hand forward and your right arm back. And just tune into your breath, feeling the strength in your legs working, supporting you. Come back to center, step up into chair pose, and then bring your left elbow to right knee. Back into chair pose, and then forward fold, bent knees. And rise up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Full deep breath in, arms out and up, hinge and fold, tense your fingers, step your left foot back, but plant your left foot in the ground so your right knee will be bent. Press into the earth to rise up. Now bring your hips and chest to the left. Bring your arms out to your sides into warrior two. Stretching your arms long. Noticing if your knee is bending in, and see if you can just press that knee out to the outside so it tracks over your middle toe. Strong back leg, pressing the knife edge of your back foot into the earth. Take a couple breaths here, just focusing on your fingers in front of you. Flip your right palm to reverse, right arm overhead. Come back into warrior two. Briefly, place your right elbow on right knee, left hand on left hip, and open up your heart. You might have to come up a little bit to keep your heart open. Maybe bringing your left hand up to the sky. Now press into the ground with your right foot, straighten your right knee. We're coming into triangle pose, so reach forward as far as you can reach. Place your left hand on left hip, maybe your right hand on your shin or on your thigh. Once again, opening your heart first, maybe adjusting if you're finding your heart's towards the ground. Come up a little bit further to find that openness, drawing your left shoulder back. So find a position that works for you, maybe bringing your left hand up to the sky. Now bring your left hand down, frame your right foot with your hand, step your left foot to meet your right to come to halfway lift, hinge and fold, press into the ground to rise up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Now this time, step your right foot back, grounding your right foot into the earth, left knee will be bent. Bring your hips and chest to the right this time, and then bring your arms out to your sides into warrior two. Finding that focus. Seeing if you can let go of some of the clutter that might be in your mind. Maybe even really focusing on your fingers and letting whatever's in the background blur away so you have complete focus. I noticed my shoulders were a little bit up towards my ears. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Now flip your left palm and reach overhead to reverse. And then we're coming into side angle, so left elbow on left knee, right hand on right hip, drawing right shoulder back to open up your heart, maybe bringing your right hand up to the sky. Once again, finding your fingers to gaze at if your arm is up. Now press into your left foot to rise up, straightening your left leg. Now reach as far as you can, place your right hand on right hip, and then when you can't go any further, tilt over into triangle pose. So your left hand could be on your shin or your thigh, but once again, if you notice you're kind of moving towards the ground, maybe come up a little bit to open up, possibly bringing your right hand up to the sky, and then adjusting however you need to find your full expression of triangle pose. And noticing where your mind is. Are you itching to move on to the next thing? Or are you focusing on your breath, being here right now? Okay, bend your left leg, frame your left foot. Step your right foot to meet your left to come to halfway lift. Hinge and fold. And then press into the ground to rise up, arms out and up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Now come to the wide edge of your mat. Bring your toes, spread your legs wider than hip distance. Your toes will be pointed slightly inward, coming into a forward fold. So fold over. Maybe bending your knees just a little bit, being careful for your lower back, and just tense your fingers right in front of you for now while you get your foot placement. And then settle in, feeling the length along your spine. Let your neck relax as the crown of your head moves towards the earth. And you could play around with bending your knees a little bit or a lot. So now come to a halfway lift. Place your left hand underneath your face and then bring your right hand up to the sky or on your right hip. And we'll just hold the pose for a few breaths. Now bring your right hand down, and then we're going to forward fold again, so have a nice long spine. Knees slightly bent. As you take a breath in, come to half lift. Place your right hand underneath your face and then bring your left hand up towards your left hip or up to the sky. Bring your left hand down and forward fold. Now walk your hands over to the left, so you'll come into a low lunge and then come into all fours and then lower yourself all the way to your belly. Rest your forehead on the mat. We'll go through a cobra series. So when you're ready to take a breath in, lift your chest off the earth, draw your shoulders down and back, press the tops of your feet into the earth. Baby cobra and lower down. So you can go back to baby cobra, or when you take a breath in, maybe rise up a little bit further into cobra. So still bringing your shoulders down and back, but feeling sensation in your upper and lower back. and lowering down. Now this time you can come up into baby cobra, cobra, or all the way to upward dog. So if you're coming to upward dog, press the tops of your feet into the earth, lift your thighs and knees off the ground, draw your shoulders down and back, looking straight ahead, and then lower all the way down. Rest your forehead on the mat. Press up first into all fours, and then sink into child's pose. Now come up so that you're standing on your knees. Bring your arms out and up. And then as you lower down, bring your right hand behind you and your left hand on your right knee, sitting up tall. Take a couple breaths here. Come back to center, rise up, and then sink into child's pose. Rise up to standing on knees, arms out and up. And as you lower down, bring your left hand behind you, your right hand on left knee, tall spine, twisting to the left. Come back to center, arms out and up, and then sink into child's pose. And then press yourself up, and then we'll come to a seated position. So just scooch your legs around however feels good for you. So we'll come into a seated spinal twist. So start by bringing both legs out in front of you. Find even placement on both of your sitting bones. Bring your right knee up. Now bring your right hand behind you. You could keep your left hand on your right knee, but first focus on really finding a nice long spine, and then we'll twist a little bit further to the right, so you could keep your hand on your knee, or maybe place your elbow, your left elbow on right knee. And we'll just stay here for a couple of breaths, noticing that you remain even on both of your sitting bones. And then come back to center. We're going to do a forward fold, but with bent knees. So just fold over, pressing your chest on your thighs. So working to find as much length and expansion as you can in your spine. And then come back up to seated. So this time bring your left knee up. Place your right hand on left knee, twist to the left, bring your left hand behind you, sitting up tall, and twist to the left. So maybe bringing your right elbow to left knee, maybe even on the outside of your left knee. So just find a position where you're finding a twist that feels good, but not over twisting. If you find yourself kind of, your spine kind of slouching, maybe undo the twist a little bit so you can find that nice, tall, long spine. And then come back to center, and we'll do that forward fold again, bent knees, and folding over. Come to a seated position. Bring the soles of your feet together if that feels good for you. You could maybe bring your bum a little bit closer to your heels, just scooching up. So you could remain sitting up tall. If you'd like, you could forward fold, so bringing your elbows to the inside of your your lower leg, and just letting go. This pose is called Badakhanasana. And then press yourself up to seated. Bring your legs in front of you, and we're going onto our backs. So we're just going to do one pose called legs up the wall. So you could place the palms of your hands on the floor underneath your lower back. So your palms will be pressing the earth, so you'll be resting your lower back on the tops of your hands. Just do a couple of ankle rolls. And then you can bring your legs down, and we'll come into Supta Badakhanasana. So it's bringing the soles of your feet together. And we'll stay here for a breath or two. If this doesn't feel like a comfortable pose for you, if your hips are feeling too tight, you can come into Shavasana. So you could stay in this pose, Supta Badakhanasana, because I like to say it, or come into Shavasana. So your palms will be facing up, your legs in a slight V. And then settling in to your mat. If either of those positions don't feel good for you, you can find a position where you can come to stillness for the last bit of your class. So as you're settling in, draw attention to your breath. Just notice what your breath feels like right now. Just breathing in and out. And if your mind starts to wander, or if your mind feels cluttered, use your breath to tether yourself back to the present moment and to tether yourself to what is pure and clean in your head. Notice if you're holding tension anywhere. For example, if you're holding tension in your neck or shoulders, first draw awareness to that tension. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, see if you can let go of the muscles, let them relax, allow the tension to subside. So take a few moments just noticing, scanning your body, noticing if there are any areas that need your attention, need your breath to bring in relaxation. So as you're resting here, just bring to mind things that no longer serve you, that you can get rid of. So maybe it's things in your home that you could either recycle or donate. Sometimes when our spaces are very cluttered, that allows our mind to stay cluttered. Maybe decluttering your fridge, getting rid of foods that are maybe toxic to you. Maybe it's thinking about the things that you're surrounding yourself with. Maybe it's negative or toxic news or social media. And think of ways you can maybe let that go. Where our thoughts go, our actions tend to follow. So starting with your mind, clearing your mind to clear out what else you need to clear out. So come back to your breath. There's nothing else for you to do. Just simply be and rest in the effects of your practice. We did a purifying, cleansing practice. We spent some time clearing the mind. So you don't have to do anything else now. Just rest in yourself. You can just be. Feel your breath. Notice your breath. Maybe lengthening your inhales and your exhales. Coming back into the space, bringing energy, life force, and oxygen into your body. You might feel some wiggles in your fingers and your toes as you're coming back into your space. And then when you're ready, you can roll on to your side, whichever side is calling you. Use your arm as a little pillow, perhaps drawing your knees towards your chest. Take a moment here and thank yourself for practicing today, taking the time for your self-care, taking the time to declutter your mind and your body. When you're ready, press yourself up into a seated position. Draw your hands to your heart. Thank you for practicing. Namaste.